Hey everyone, today I'd like to go over a good workflow for improving your poses. And this is good for both figure drawing and character work. It has everything to do with drawing subtle twists in a pose. So let's start from the beginning here. This is an egg. An egg laid by this chicken, actually. Say hi to Sesame. When I'm moving the egg around like this, it's kind of difficult to track its exact orientation in 3 dimensions. But if I put this hairband around the egg, now the exact orientation of that form is clear as day. If we think of that hairband as a center line defining 2 sides of the egg, well, here the egg is facing in this direction. And here the egg is facing in this direction. And over here the egg is facing in this direction. You get the idea. Let's draw some eggs together. This is a basic exercise, but it's not beneath us. Here's an egg shape, and now I want to add a center line. I'll use red for this. And the discipline is to try and feel the 3-dimensionality of the form here. Just imagine you're wrapping that hairband around it. As you can see, I'm even drawing the backside of that ellipse to kind of fully track that form in perspective. And here's another center line, this one going across the form horizontally. And there we go. We'll speed up here and draw just a couple more. This one oriented as if it's turned just a little bit more away from us compared to the last one. These hairbands I will now refer to as cross contours. That's the artistic term for this kind of thing. Let's do one more quick one here. This one oriented to the left and kind of facing down. This type of exercise is essential for beginners, and for novice and even advanced artists, it's a good warm-up exercise.
Oh, hey everyone, it's announcement time. Many of you have checked out my book, Debt-Free Art Degree, Foundations in Drawing. Well, I'm proud to say that Volume 2 is now finished.
The book is Debt-Free Art Degree, Character Design. I wrote it to be a complete guide to the tools, foundations, and creative practices that you need when designing characters. You'll learn how to use tools and fundamentals specifically for the task of character design, including everything from shape exercises, stylistic choices, line selection, facial anatomy and expression, doing turnarounds and drawing characters from different angles, and way more. It's 170 pages.
The book comes out this October, and we're doing a pre-order raffle contest. If you pre-order the book from any online retailer, you can submit that pre-order. I'll be giving away 11 prizes. The grand prize will be my entire mentorship program, and then I'll randomly draw 10 more winners who will get a single free course of their choice. Check the pinned comment and video description for a list of retailers where you can get the book and where you can submit that pre-order info to enter yourself into the raffle. The deadline is September 15th, and I'll do the raffle draw here on my YouTube channel shortly after that.
So I hope you'll check out Debt-Free Art Degree, Volume 2, Character Design. All right, back to the lesson. We were talking about cross contours, which is an ideal tool for tracking parts of the body through a pose. Remember to treat it as a center line, so it splits the body in half. Now, the ribcage can rotate independent of the hips. That's what a twist is, and here I'm using the cross contour to track that twist. Notice the S-curve it makes. We'll see that a lot moving forward. The body can achieve a twist in many ways. Here it is in just the shoulders. I'm representing the top of the shoulders like the top plane of a box, and then here's a cross contour going over the form down the middle of the body. Here I'm just doing the same shoulder twist but the other way. Cross contour over the form down the middle. Another way to think about a pose is aim the body with the hips first, and then rotate the ribcage and upper body from there. Here the chest is oriented pretty much directly at us, but that cross contour will start to twist, passing through the navel area as it makes its way to the middle of the rotated hips. And here's the same pose, but from the other side. Chest is fairly square to us, but we really capture the twist of the body with that cross contour, as it must also pass through the middle of the hips. You can try putting this to practice with basic geometry. Here's that egg shape, although now it's a rib cage. There's no twist in this one, so the center line is basically vertical. I do like to try and landmark the navel there, as you can see, and then just representing the hips with a box. So there's my center line restated in red there, basically vertical. Oh, and of course, you can also add cross contours going the other way. Okay, let's twist this. Here's the egg with the red hairband around it, which is a cross contour. Just putting in a little thoracic arch there to make it look like a rib cage. But notice my cross contour here has the same S-curve we just saw on the real body. So right here, as I extend that cross contour down, it has to go over the middle of that hip box. All right, here's one more where the rib cage is rotated up and away from us. Now, I'm just inventing these little studies, and as you can see, I use the cross contour to help me visualize this stuff. I like to try and ballpark the navel in there. and then extend the cross contour down over the middle of the hips. You can practice this over a real body. That's not my body this time. Just make a white layer over top, reduce the opacity, and then on a third layer above everything, go ahead and find your cross contours. I'll include the head this time because of course the head can add to a twist as well, since it can also rotate independently. And here's that all-important cross contour going down the entire upper body. I started at the middle of the neck, between the collarbones, tracking the middle of the body all the way down to the bottom of the hips. Then I can throw in my basic geometry. Here's the egg shape for the rib cage, a little thoracic arch there, and here's the box form for the hips. The cross contour is in place, and there we go, that's our study. The shoulders have a bit of a twist in this one, so I'll go back here and map out the top plane of the shoulders as if it were the top plane of a box, just like I did before, and then I'll just map out some cylinders for the upper arms, making sure I capture their two very different orientations as a result of the shoulder twist. And here we go. This is how we train our brain to turn that two-dimensional page into 3 dimensions, as well as understand the various orientations parts of the body can take in a complex pose. Did you know you can feed chickens their own eggs? I know that sounds odd, but it's really good for them. Keep the shells in for calcium reasons. When I come outside with this pan, they are always magically there. Okay, well, Sesame's there, but it doesn't take long for Pumpkin to realize she's missing out and she comes running. I have more chickens, but these two are best friends. If drawing twists is difficult, forget about referencing an actual human body for now, and just draw 2 boxes oriented differently, connected with a cross contour. In these studies, the upper box there represents not only the rib cage, but also the stomach and abdomen. So in this second study here, I am adding a twist to that box itself. The lower box, which is the hips, that has to stay rigid. If you're having trouble twisting a box, try this. Draw a line with like a hook on it, like this. Pinpoint the 2 ends of that line, then kind of mirror them over here, then draw their corresponding line. You can use a similar hook if you want, then go ahead and simply connect those endpoints. It gets a little more challenging now. We want to work out its 3-dimensionality. So this is the plane that would face down due to this twist, and then here is a side plane that will come up and around, meeting the new corner we just developed. And this is the trickiest part of this drawing. We can see the backplane sneaking into view there, again due to the twist. And now I'm just adding a couple values to reinforce the dimensionality. We could take this form and delete the bottom part and twist that too. Why not? What we're training here is the pliability of our brain by making these forms feel pliable. Don't forget that cross contour, it's an essential element. I'm drawing it in purple here for some reason. Here's one more twisted box form for good measure. Just like before, I like to start it out as a flat card. Then I'll pick a side and add the dimensional planes that turn a flat card into a box. And the shading here is unnecessary, but it is nice to complete the study. And zooming through one more quick one, a flat card to start, and then finding the side and top planes from there. Don't forget that cross contour, which I did forget in the last one. Whoops. The original Disney animators came up with an exercise to practice this stuff too. They called it the half-filled flour sack. It's essentially 2 volumes, just like the ribcage and the hips, except these volumes are both round, because it's a sack filled with flour, and as we've seen with these 2 forms, you can pose and twist and emote even without a head or facial expression or anything like that. The flour sack exercise is nice because it gets you away from rigid boxes. Even though you can twist boxes like we just did, the human body is fleshy and that introduces squash and stretch, and the flour sack can capture that as well. Always remember those cross contours though, tracking the middle of the form. That fundamental has never gone away. Geez, did I forget it again on the second one? Alright, let's take the leap and apply these boxes and forms to a human body. With no tracing this time, of course, we will draw it freehand. I do like to start with the orientation of the head because it's pretty easy to see, and then I'll find that twisty torso with a twisted box. This looks just like one of our studies from before. Now, I don't want to get too far without putting in that cross contour. Remember, down the middle of the body. The hips are rotated toward us. A basic rigid box is ideal for representing the hips, because the hips themselves cannot twist. Now, we're not really dealing with limbs in this lesson, but we're figure drawing now, so I am going to throw them in. As far as this lesson is concerned though, I could stop that drawing right here, and I have captured some critical information about that pose. And if I did want to take this further, look at how it doesn't take much to transform my basic geometry drawing into an actual human body. All right, let's do another one. Once again, starting with the head, which I just convert to a box. I do use boxes as much as I can, and that's because boxes have clear planes. Anyway, there's a bit of rotation at the shoulders. His right arm is pushing back at the shoulder, and his left shoulder is comparatively moving forward, so a bit of counterclockwise rotation there at the shoulders. And I'm capturing that rotation with the top plane of a box, just like I did earlier in this video. Other than that, there is a subtle twist between the ribcage area and hips. It's not nearly as obvious as the last pose, but it is there. As you can see, I've drawn the cross contour going down the middle of the body to help track these subtle relationships, and that acts as a grounding foundational force as I draw the rest of the body. Let's bring back those 3D arrows. The upper back is pointed this way, and the hips are pointed this way. Again, subtle, but that's the nature of twists. They often are subtle, which is why many beginner and novice level artists miss it. So you have to train your eye to spot them, and then develop the tools that we've been looking at in this lesson to draw them. Here's another pose with a subtle twist. This one has a nice kind of narrative to it. It's like she's peering to the left, kind of nervously, and what really helps communicate that is the subtle twist. The rib cage is rotated toward us just a little more than the hips are. When I draw this stuff and map it out, I kind of feel like I'm doing the flour sack exercise, really. I'm trying not to think of anatomy. There's no use getting bombarded with that yet. The major thing you're looking for is how all these forms align relative to each other. And here's that midline with that classic kind of S curve that is always there when the body is performing a twist. I'll take this drawing just a hair further. I'll end it right here. All right, here's a drawing I'm doing without reference, which can be scary at first, but I'm just using the tools we've developed, which are easy to imagine, basically just tracking the orientation of two major forms, the rib cage and the hips. Connect those with a cross contour going down the middle of the body. All of that is present in the drawing right now, and I could stop this drawing right now and the twist would be fully communicated. But I like this drawing, so I'm going to see where it goes. I will speed it up significantly though, because the twist part is already captured. This is where you add in your other layers of knowledge. Things like anatomy, shading, shape design. Those are all disciplines in and of themselves, but they're really not needed at the start. All right, rolling right into the next one. There's really nothing subtle about the twist in this pose. In this case, the twist is contributing to an exertion, like a physical exertion of the body. That's another common place that a twist will show up. Anyway, I started with the head and neck. The neck is nice because it sits in the middle of the ribcage, so I can build the ribcage from there, and as well I can build my classic cross contour, helping me to imagine those 3D arrows, classic S-curve capturing that twist, passing through the navel as it does. I used his loincloth thingy there to mark a hip box, at least the top of one. And if we just briefly pause right here, that's the pose. It's not necessarily a finished drawing. I'll go ahead and finish it out more now. But with these simple tools we've been looking at, I was able to capture the twist, the gesture, the energy. It may not be pretty yet, but now I can deploy my other tools that are more pretty by nature. Surface anatomy being a big one here. Some basic lighting coming in. But again, these are other disciplines that only work if they're on top of a good foundation. All right, let's do one more here. I love the narrative in this pose. Right away, that shoulder on the left, or her right shoulder, is cocked toward us. And because that information is right next to the head, it makes it easy for me to judge it, so I started there. But before long, here's that cross contour coming down the body, down the middle of the body, remember, passing through where I think the navel would be, and traveling down the middle of the hips. I know this lesson didn't talk about limbs at all, but those just kind of branch off the shoulders and the hips. So locating a limb becomes much easier as well once these foundations are in place. As I finish out the drawing here, I guess the last thing I'll say about this lesson is the concept of the cross contour is one of the main things that really transformed my drawing skill. There is a real tactile sense to it, meaning when you draw a cross contour going over the form, it somehow makes your hand feel that form. And the paper or canvas suddenly feels three-dimensional instead of two-dimensional. You notice in all the drawings in this lesson, I never correct the cross contour. Once I draw it, I commit to it and build around it. That's another discipline to keep in mind as you're working at this. And all right, that's all for today. I hope this helps your drawing. Check out my new book, and if you do pre-order it, make sure you enter yourself into the raffle. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video. I mean, look at these two.